We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig. You decide when you lose, not other people. And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollers.locals.com. What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you. I'm Stuttering Craig. My, oh my. We spent this week, I'm going to tell you right now, we spent this week just rummaging through the internet, digging through the sand, trying to find amazing stories. And it's like, boop, they all landed in our lap here on Friday because, good God, it's a treasure trove of insanity. I don't even know how any other way to explain it. Speaking of insanity, it's Brochacho Blabs.
Hello, happy Friday. I'm bringing Bucket Hat Friday back, but you didn't get the memo.
You're right. Sorry about that.
Failure.
Would you want me to go get the bucket hat? I'll go get it if you want. Okay,
come on, go get it.
Good.
I'll introduce Malcolm.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
good.
ahead. Listen, I don't think Malcolm has a bucket hat. Just
He
throwing
probably
it out there.
doesn't. I feel like he's a normal man and doesn't have one, but that's all right.
That's right.
Hi, Malcolm.
Hello, I am so sorry I don't have a bucket hat. I've got to check your merch store to pick one up, right?
Yes, that's right. Look, go, shoot, Craig. Go get your bucket hat. Watch him have it like on the floor. Go on. There you go. Anyway, what's going on, Malcolm?
I was trending on Twitter this weekend as a quote unquote child abuser for using corporal punishment with my kids, which made the media go apoplectic.
Yes.
Which is always fun. I mean, a lot of it's intentional. We try to court like what we call this media baiting, where you try to get the far progressive press to freak out about something that they think is insane, but like most Americans agree with. So when you're looking at something like corporal punishment, like something like 75% of Americans practice it, and yet they're acting like, oh, he has to have his children taken away. Even the science isn't in their favor anymore. There was a recent paper, Parental Punishment, Don't Throw the Baby Out with the Bathwater, that was in 2023 and shows that it has beneficial effects and that the old studies were done really poorly. So yeah, it's just a good way to get media attention, but it's always all the death threats get to you.
Yeah, I bet. What is he doing?
It's just slowly coming into frame here.
What is that? That's hilarious.
You like it?
You gonna go gardening soon?
I'm only gonna do it. This is only through the intro, Blabs. I can't do this any longer than the intro.
Why not? Listen, you look like a dork with the string. Put the string in your hat.
What do you want? I got
The
double
string goes in your hat.
The string does not go in your hat. It keeps it up below your idea.
Are you moving that you have to have it like tucked on your like chin, like a helmet?
You asked for the bucket hat. I get the bucket hat. What do you want from me?
This is a bucket hat.
I got a hat that stops the sun. That's what we're doing. Okay, that's what we're doing here.
We've changed.
I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go kill some crocodiles.
It's Discount Steve. It's
Right.
Texas Steve. Okay, no, seriously, the string is bothering me. It goes in your hat. You just put it in your hat and you put it on your head.
Blabs, I can't do this. I can't
not?
do this hat. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Ridiculous.
Why? I sound like that meme. Why?
I can't even deal with this. Listen, here's the thing. No.
What?
No.
What's he doing? I know. What you doing? All right. It's Netflix
over.
Craig, everybody. Wow, look at that magic.
Oh my
Failure
God.
of a bucket hat man.
All right, look, let's just all move on. Malcolm, I'm glad you're with us today. Were you guys discussing something while I was gone?
Oh, I mentioned the going trending on Twitter thing and the the whole freak out. I mean, it's wild how much society has changed really recently. You know, that is you know, there was like a pro spanking episode of South Park, a pro spanking not episode, but like joke in Futurama, in Boondocks, in The Simpsons, and that we as a society have, and that was only like 15 years ago or something. Like that was my childhood, and now it's seen as like this beyond the pale sort of a thing. Which is really interesting to me, and I think shows how small a portion of the population, you know, when I say like 75% of Americans or so do it, how small a portion of the population is actually in the media bubble, where a lot of the media that we're consuming is generated.
Well, you know, I think that's, I mentioned this before, and by the way, sorry, there's vacuuming happening literally 3 feet away from me. I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but yeah, you are being, it's okay. It's okay. Go vacuum the other side of the house, please. Thank you. All right. Okay, then go. I'm literally live right now. I'm live right now. Okay, bye.
Bye.
My daughter has chores and she has to get them done. So she's she's sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. So there we are. Anyways.
That sounds like slave labor. You make your
know.
daughter work?
Oh,
No, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy how
You're gonna get canceled pretty soon.
I know. My bad.
hashtag
Sorry.
cancel Craig.
That's right. Hey, not the first time or the last time. And every time it's swatted to half court because I just don't care. You can only be canceled if you care to be canceled. With that said, we are glad that you're with us, Malcolm. And I think that, you know, what you're talking about is a great microcosm and metaphor for what's happening in the video game space, because I swear to Lord, we have so much to talk about today. It is going to be insane. But first, I'd like to remind everybody we are live over on rumble.com/side scrollers. Not using Rumble Studio today, although I did do another test with Rumble Studio last night, Blabs. And I got to be honest, it worked great if you're on Rumble, and that's it.
Only on Rumble.
But if you're pushing out to YouTube or anywhere else, it's kind of a struggle. So I'm going to work with them to try to improve that process. So with that said, you can find us over at rumble.com/side scrollers. Join the nearly 7,500 people over there who love us because it's common sense in the video game space, just normal men. Why do we love Rumble, Blabs?
Because it grows organically.
That's right. It's true. In addition to that, we also have an X account where you can watch the show and or find out who's going to be on the show. Like you could have found out that Malcolm was going to be on the show just by following us over there at x.com/side-scroller-pod. In addition to other social media, we have an Instagram, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow some memes and clips of the show. Otherwise, you know, I'll be very angry with you.
Oh, man, you don't want that. We also
No,
have
no, Craig knows. When I get mad, I get mad.
Dude, listen. Like the tea kettle. She's
Big tisms.
It's crazy. We also have an audio version of the show. You can listen to us over on Apple Podcast or Spotify as we continue to move up the charts over there, and a locals account at sidescrollers.locals.com. As Blabs and I have been discussing very intently, playing some video games over there and making it exclusive to locals. So make sure you guys go over there and follow us. You also get notified every time we go live. Nearly 1,500 folks over on locals, which is great. If you can create it. Doesn't cost you anything. It is free. If you want to support, you can. If not, that's cool. But you do get notified every time we go live every single day. And that's really important, which we can't say the same when it comes to YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Join the 82,700 subscribers over here on YouTube who love common sense in the video game and entertainment space. Let's do our best to get to 900 likes today and our 25 memberships. Bingo, bongo. Now, Blabs, I don't know if you know this. Today is May 31st. Did you know that?
No, Craig, tell me more.
Well, today is actually the last day, Blabs. Way to put it up. You put that ball right on the tee there, Blabs. I'm going to hit this grand slam Rooney. Today is the last day for you to pick up the Blabs the Tower Tard karaoke t-shirt. If you don't get it today, you will not get it. If you want a bucket hat like Blabs, go pick it up right now. The Blabs the Tower Tard karaoke. Listen, I realize that we have just normal men here, and normal men don't wear karaoke bucket hats. But
yes, we do.
If you want to get one for your kid or something, hey, they love karaoke and they don't know who Blabs is. Hey, they want looking for a role model. Do me a favor. Just look at this and realize you have a role model right here. Go pick it up right now. Blabs karaoke, Blabs the Tower Tard karaoke merchandise available right now, today and last day only. You can also pick up my daughter's Let Us Skateboard t-shirt. The design she brought me home from school. She said, hey, I made this. I said, I love it so much. I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. She gets $5 for every shirt that's sold, which is great. Malcolm, once again, going to be canceled for the slave labor. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I see it as an opportunity to teach hard work and value. And so far, she's made over $100 from selling those shirts. I think that's great. So good for her. That's
really cool.
Yeah, love it. Now, once again, Shane came in and picked up look, tomorrow the floodgates open. We all know this. It's June. It's going to be Pride Month, right? And things are about to go nuts. You're going to be overflowed with brands pretending to care about this stuff. But we do care. In June, it is Pride Month. And here is our Pride Month merchandise. American Pride, baby. That's right.
Yeah.
Limited edition shirts available only this month. Why in June? Because it's all about Pride. And we want you to have those shirts for July and July 4th so you can wear them for when it's all about America, baby. So pick up your American Pride t-shirt. We also have hats available, like Shane came in with and picked up the American Pride t-shirts. It's quit taking my money, Craig. Hey, thank you, Shane. Appreciate that. You're going to look good. You're going to look good in that shirt. So with that said, we appreciate you guys popping in. So Blabs, what do we have today in gaming history?
So before we go to gaming history, I just gotta say I'm super excited for all the gay stormtroopers for June. Like when Funko releases another gay stormtrooper, I can't wait. It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so gay and so progressive. But going back to gaming history, this one I'm actually pleased with the results of it because people on Twitter have been sharing the games and they've actually been sending photos of the games they own. So for May 31st, Bugs Bunny Lost in Time was released back in 1999. And people have been reposting that one, as well as Covert Ops Nuclear Dawn was released back in 2000, and then the One Piece Burning Blood was released back in 2016. So yeah, there's your games for today.
Wait, that one is the one that's getting the most traction on social media?
Bugs Bunny and Covert Ops.
What? I don't know.
Yeah, people were taking photos of their games and sharing it under the thread and saying, "Hey, you're making me feel old."
Okay.
Isn't that wild? Like today, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a slim picking for May 31st. It was a slim picking, and yet those games, people have them. And I'm like, awesome, Bugs Bunny, let's go.
I guess sounds great. I had no idea that those games even existed, and that people. That's the beautiful thing about games and media as a whole is there is games and media out there that I played that you haven't, that you've played that I haven't, that Malcolm played that I haven't. That means something to us as individuals and very much intently like shaped us that you may not have any idea existed in the first place, and I think that's the wonderful thing about games and just media as a whole. I love it. So
mind if I drop a quick theory here before we move forwards on the Pride Month topic,
please.
Which is that it feels to me as if pride, like this generic quote unquote pride, has been used as a way to launder white pride. Like I see the Pride Month as being a laundering of white pride because what culture is this coming out of? Like this isn't indigenous culture or anything like this. This evolved out of European culture. And you see it most loudly expressed in the regions of the world where actually having pride in any sort of European cultural heritage is most suppressed. So in the cities where you could like at least have any sort of European cultural pride parade, you're going to have the loudest quote unquote pride parades because they give people new identities that they are socially sanctioned to be prideful about, to experience something that is banned in almost every other aspect of their identity.
Interesting idea. yeah, interesting for sure. With that said, thank you, Malcolm, for that. I would like to remind everybody that Today in Gaming History is brought to you by our friends over at Zydax PCs. Make sure you guys go pick it up. If you guys are in the market for a Zydax PC or for a PC, consider checking out Zydax PCs over there. They're all man-made in America, put together by Americans and with support from Americans, customer support. So once again, consider checking out Zydax PCs. Link is in the description down below. Thank you guys very much for your support. They support us, so please support them. Like I said, we're gonna have a banger today. We have so much to talk about, including this Home Alone house that's for sale. We got the $500 League of Legends skin, which we've been waiting to talk about for a week. But I'm telling you right now, towards the end of the show, we got some bangers. Like it is straight clown world, and it's not in like society. I'm talking video game world. But first, Jake came in with the 2. Says, greetings to all normal men out there. Hey, Jake, you know it. We're all just normal men. That's what we love about this show. Jonathan came in and says, It's time to buy Destiny Warriors and press X over and 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 over again. Hey, thanks, Jonathan. That's right. That's what Dynasty Warriors is. You press X a bunch and you get a giant combo and the dopamine hits and you're like, yeah, I love it. That's Dynasty Warriors right there. Peter says, what's Raging Rhino doing on the stream? Where is Craig? Is he safe? Is he all right? That's when I was wearing my my hat. Let's go. This is my soccer dad hat. When you're outside in the sun, I wear this to keep all the rays off my neck because nobody wants a burnt neck. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate that. By the way, Rhino did great yesterday. He was excellent. Mr. Tickle Trunk says the video game industry doesn't hate us, only the corpos do. It's the fault of corporate HR departments. They're the CRT hives of scum and villainy. Well, thanks, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Well, we're going to see a great example of that very, very shortly. So hang with us throughout the show. Alex came in and says, make a poll. String does not go in the hat.
It totally does if you don't need it around you and you just put it in your hat.
I love that we get to live in a cyberpunk universe where we actually have evil corpos trying to brainwash us. Like, take your wins where you get them. We get to live the cyberpunk fantasy. The dystopia.
We get to. Hooray. Hooray.
Hooray.
Hooray. Hooray for that. Good for us. Hooray for all of us living in this dystopian world that we live in. That's great. Godzilla's Greaser came in and says, happy 5th anniversary to Godzilla, King of the Monsters. My favorite of the Monsterverse because of how well they did the kaiju, especially King Ghidorah. Thank you, Godzilla's Greaser. Appreciate that. And I'm glad, happy anniversary to you. Hell came in with the 10. Says, don't worry. I'll let them cancel you for slave labor before I cancel you for not finishing Chrono Trigger. Listen, just deal with it. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Hell. And yes, I have not beat Chrono Trigger. Wolfbane Fire says, finally able to catch you guys live. Just got off a 12-hour shift, and now I got shovel a bunch of topsoil from my backyard. Least I can listen to you folks. Hey, we're gonna make this topsoil shoveling the best 90 minutes of topsoil shoveling we can possibly deliver to you.
You're outside getting some fresh air.
Probably wearing a bucket hat.
Yeah, that's right. Because real normal men wear bucket hats, except for Craig.
That's right. Beef 3D says, hey, Blabs, I was playing Valheim and caught 2-star boar for livestock. When tamed, I named one Brochacho and the other Broham.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gaming with Spoons came into the 5, says, hard to keep hope today with what's happening in the world. I just want to be a normal, innocent man. Thanks for reminding me common sense exists. Hey, Gaming Spoons, we're going to briefly touch on that here to start the show. But hey, I just need you guys to know, at the end of the day, we are just normal men.
We're just normal men.
That's it. That's all you need to know. Just normal men. Also, Eric says, did you see the Silent Hill 2 remake announced? Yeah, I actually do have something that wasn't on the run sheet today, Blabs, which has to do with the Silent Hill 2 remake. We'll get into that in a little bit. That was State of Play yesterday. And Toma came in and says, with Pride Month coming up, do any of you know when Wrath Month is? Thank you, Toma. Appreciate that. I believe it starts in July. Kyle came in with a $5 direct donation, says, the good, the bad, the ugly of yesterday was wild. The good, Dallas is going to the NBA Finals. The bad, Trump found guilty 34 times. The ugly, Sony State of Play. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Master of Puppets came in with a $10 direct donation, says, just showing my support. Thank you very much, Master of Puppets. And Shiny King says, tomorrow's dinosaur month. What's y'all's favorite dinosaur? Biden doesn't count. I like sauropods because they're big enough to not need to care about anything. Favorite dinosaurs? Malcolm, go.
He's like, oh.
I actually oviraptors. I always thought that they were really cool. The little ones that steal the eggs because it's not the answer anyone else is going to give.
All right, you like the raptors, not just because Jurassic Park made them.
No, oviraptors.
Oh, the oviraptors. Okay.
They're really small. I'm like this.
They're sort of medium-sized and gangly, and they predominantly eat eggs. Well, we thought they ate eggs. Now we think that they were actually just on their own nests, and they were miscategorized. So we don't know exactly.
You mean that not knowing something that was millions of years old, we may have got something wrong about dinosaurs? just throwing it out there. They're miscategorized. Blabs, favorite dinosaur? Go.
Honestly, that's a really hard question because I love playing with all of them in Jurassic World. All of them.
What's that?
All of them.
No, you don't get to say all
All
of
right,
them.
fine. T-Rex. Just because they got a big head and small arms. Yeah. Mhm.
You're a normie.
I am not a normie. I have a 5-star park.
Yeah, that's
T-Rex
fine.
is so basic it comes around to based because even basic people would be afraid to say T-Rex.
You know, the chicken is the relative of the T-Rex. We all understand that, right? Is
Yes.
it the chicken?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what?
Yes.
Those guys they're shitty little motherfuckers, okay?
It's true, they are.
I have scars all over my forearms from freaking chickens because they're so bananas. Okay? It looks like I cut myself when I was younger. But no,
Do you have
it's
chickens
just
at your
chicken
house?
scars.
You have chicken?
Oh, you don't have chickens right now. We got a bunch of chickens right now.
I
out
used
back.
to work on a lot of ranches and things, and like when you had to go in and send them off to like the abattoir or the slaughterhouses, whichever you want to call them, you put them in cages, right? But like these one breed of chickens are called Freedom Rangers, I think they call them something like that, and they're really brown and they're really feisty and they jump and all that. They jump in lots. So shut up, Craig. It's fine. I'm just talking about agriculture. Y'all need to learn.
I love it.
I love that
The
background.
correct answer, though, to everybody is the Stegosaurus. The Stegosaurus is the correct answer when it comes to the best dinosaur, with a giant tail with spikes at the end of it and spikes lining its back, a 4-legged beast ready to destroy people with its massive tail. The Stegosaurus is the greatest of all dinosaurs. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's important. Hey, PP Toucher came in, picked up the
Whoa!
t-shirt and also the American Pride t-shirt, I believe. Says grabbing my shirt. Thank you very much, PP Toucher. General Duality picked up the American Pride t-shirt. Yeah. 90 Dragons picked up the Blabs the karaoke bar t-shirt. And one other piece says, fine, I'll buy the damn hat. 900 Dragons picked up the hat.
Yes.
Christian Rocker came in, picked up the American Pride t-shirt, just said America. Last Night's Regret picked up the Blabs the karaoke bar t-shirt. Let's go. So did David. David picked up the Let Us skateboard. Peach Tea picked up the Blabs karaoke t-shirt. Said happy birthday, Blabs, a couple days ago. Jared picked up the American Pride t-shirt, and so did Kratos. Says I'm just a normal man that's gay for America. There you go, Kratos. You know it. And I Am the Icarus came in with the 5. Says thanks to all the normal men who bought our frontman's book. It jumped up to top 20 for a bit in strategy guides on Amazon. You guys rock. Oh man. So yeah, we had Daniel from I Am the Icarus on yesterday, and you guys supported it so much. Supported his book right here, the Wizards and Warriors and Me book that he sent me. I had him on, and it jumped up to the top 20 on Amazon in strategy guides. That's amazing. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to you guys over at I Am the Icarus, which is outstanding. All right. Wow, we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to get spicy because it's going to get spicy. So let's get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for hard news. Hard news. Now, look. When this show started, I said the show would have no politics in it. And over the course of the last 15, 16, 17 months, it has just been barfed all over us. I thought, I got to be honest, I was very naive in my thoughts of bringing a show that didn't have all this clown world stuff in it, right? But I'm going to say this right now. I feel like we have to touch on this because Grummz nailed this yesterday. Okay, we all saw what happened yesterday. We had a pretty big event in American history yesterday with the Trump's thing going on yesterday. But I felt like Grummz really nailed this yesterday because I do not see myself as a political person. I never have been a political person, but here he is with this. Grummz says, look, what happened today is just a macro view of the problem in gaming. You may not like politics, and I don't talk about it much and won't, but they're willing to do so much more to control your media and games because culture leads society as a whole. That's what we have to fight for. That's why we have to fight for games. This is why they fight so hard to destroy you when you want fun games without the message. They will dox you, cancel your website, try to destroy any source of funding or public support you have, lie about and threaten you with bounties and other threats, because they know it's much more than just about games. They know games are important to culture, and that leads to all of society. Yes, Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even more important than that. And for them, this battle over culture is much more existential than it is for other groups. Because if you look at far progressive groups, they have virtually no kids. So where are they getting their members from? This is how they basically reproduce as a cultural group. They cannot exist without converting children from other cultural backgrounds, which means they need to have a disproportional footprint to continue to exist across all media that touches people during the age range where they are most likely to deconvert from their birth culture. That's from the ages of 15 to 21. That's why there's this focus on everything that touches the youth within these ultra progressive circles and having complete control of the message.
Well, there's another podcast called Cancel This. They follow us. They do a show, and they had a response to this, which I was like, man, there it is. There it is right there. They said, I don't want politics in gaming, but they beat me over the head with theirs to the point where neutrality was no longer an option. If I have to choose a side, it's not theirs because they took my peace and my escapism away. Ding, ding, ding. Cancel this podcast. You nailed it right there. And that's why this stuff is important. That's why shows like this. That's why Cancel This podcast is important. That's why Side Scroll is important. That's why Geeks and Gamers is important. That's why Nerdrotics is important. That's why it's important. Because it's bigger. That's what gaming is, the trickle down effect. It starts with like gaming. People don't understand this. Gaming has a bigger impact than movies and TVs and TV shows combined from a revenue standpoint. It's a trickle down effect. It starts here and it affects all culture. That's why it's important. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of touch on that. I know a lot of people are really, they're wound up yesterday. And it's nuts. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So,
well, I also think it's important to remember when you're talking about these big gaming companies, their departments that are designing their public-facing message, like their marketing departments and stuff like that, demographically look nothing like the consumers of these products. And as such, I don't even think they're able to model how much damage they're doing to the messages they're trying to promote.
Well, like I said, the messages that we're going to see on today's show are insane. I'm telling you, today's show, there's so much. But let's hit some lighthearted. Let's hit some lighthearted stuff before we dig into all that nonsense. Let's go over here. Listen, it's been 30-something years since Home Alone was released, right? We've seen Kevin McAllister is the star of Home Alone. But let's be real. Like the B star in the show is the house from Home Alone, right? The house is iconic.
I was going to argue Joe Pesci.
No. I actually think the house is a bigger star in the show than anything else. I mean, it's pretty iconic, right? Mm-hmm. So the house for Home Alone is for sale. It's up in a suburb of Chicago, and its asking price is $5.25 million, which, hey, say what you want. That's the society that we live in right now. They're asking $5.25 million. I think obviously if the idea of, I don't think the house is necessarily worth that, but we're dealing with some piece that's a part of American culture and society. But Malcolm, you brought up something really, really good. You wanted to talk about like the sanitary.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the pictures side by side, and I don't know if you're able to put this up, of this and like the fireplace scene, I mean, to me, it just it's cultural degradation. You see a stripping out of every unique cultural element that it previously would have been part of like Americana culture of that time period, and not a development of anything to replace it. Just a void of formless black and whiteness. And I think that's what we've seen with our culture. One of the things I've noticed in modern movies, for example, where I think, this is at its worst, is they just feel so absent of vitality and so soulless. And I think this house is just this perfect scene of this for me. Like this scene right here of him going down the staircase. Like, that's something that we've lost, is we've lost a generation of children because no one's having them anymore. And the hecticness. One of the crazy things about Home Alone is, if you talk today at people, running the prenatals movement, they're always like, I can't imagine, these giant families that you're having. You don't see them even in a show like Boss Baby. That's an under reproduction. Like, that's like less than 2 kids on average per family. Home Alone, every family had like 5 kids. And this was considered normal in media. It wasn't even like a point of the show. It was just like, yeah, lots of people have 5 kids. So it's such a different time of more vitality in our culture.
Speaking of this house here, this guy put together a minute-long TikTok. He's trying to sell. He's like a realtor or whatever. Have you seen this, Blabs? The guy who...
No, I haven't. I actually never saw the image of the interior of the house, and I'm amazed at the destruction they did to it.
Well,
and it's so true, because like even like people my age, I'm 28 now, everyone doesn't want to fill up their house with like what they call clutter. They're like, oh, I don't like items, I like experiences and things. And it's like, bro, but like just like putting some type of life in your house. It talks about your personality. It shows your personality. When people walk in, they'll be like, oh, I get an understanding about you through like the things that you have in your house. I love filling up my wall with like things like that. I mean, look behind me, right? But like nowadays, people don't do that anymore. People don't collect stuff anymore. Like that thing is gone. And you can't even look at this with furniture. Keepsake furnitures are so expensive now because hardly anyone is buying them. And it's just like, why were people not having fun? Like, yeah, it's shit. It's soulless. People are soulless now.
Well, let's take a look at this video, because we're going to go see it in actual motion as opposed to just imagery. Let's watch this minute 6 long TikTok here of this guy trying to sell this.
Welcome to one of the most famous houses in America.
Oh, damn it. We're going to get hit by copyright.
John Williams, damn it.
All right, so we'll just let it play here. So they go into the front. By the way, notice the staircase here, how it doesn't actually line. This is one of those like little Easter eggs from the movie. It's going to ruin it for everybody. If you look at how this lines up, if he went straight down, he'd land right here on the.
Yeah.
He would go right to the wall.
Did you ever actually sled down your stairwell as a kid?
No.
On my butt, I did. Not on.
I did. It's a really bad idea. You do not know how fast you start going. Like, if you actually think about the physics of what he's about to do, he is going to go fast. I mean, almost as fast as falling directly. I got seriously injured.
Well, you would fall fast directly into this wall right here, directly into these flowers. But let's go and continue here. So there's the original staircase, and once again, it's been 30 years, so I would expect some updates. But I wouldn't expect it in total clearing of all color and everything along the way here.
Why would they do that? Because if you kept it at the value and the look of how the Home Alone house was, I think it would sell more, because people are like, oh my God, this is like the real wallpaper used in the movie and everything. Like, don't you think people would pay more for that?
I think most of the interior shots were done on a set separate from the house.
Maybe.
So not everything you would have seen in the house was actually in the house back then, but I imagine that back then the house looked approximate to that, because that was the decorating style that was common for houses of this size during that time period.
Well, let me say
this looks very sad and empty. Ugh.
Yeah.
I think that if you kept the house the exact same way, you could have a killer Airbnb, especially during Christmas time.
Oh,
that is true.
Yeah. Well, here, let's continue. This is the basement with the monster radiator here. It's obviously been updated. I think this was a quality update here. I'm just going to throw this out there. Pretty good.
It might have been also for safety reasons. Who knows? Maybe the stairs need to be redone.
Sad and empty is our culture now.
Yep.
Like they went in, have an entire movie room
and look,
here.
the Home Alone Lego house.
We continue on. Look at this. Even further down, this is ridiculous. They went down. They have a basketball, a regulation basketball court down below. So they went down and look at Malcolm's about to have an aneurysm over here. Like,
what a waste of a beautiful house.
I think that's awesome. You need to have a basketball court in their house.
So you'll never ever leave ever again, and you'll just live in the basement.
Well, I mean, I think it shows how wealthy the people who own this house were, which brings me another thing about Hollywood. So this was a Hollywood of a different era, but selling us, an unsustainable and unattainable lifestyle for most of Americans. And I think this is what always gets me about like trad culture these days, is they are modeling what Hollywood was selling them in like the 1950s, but that was no more realistic for most families in the 1950s than this was in the 90s, or what we're seeing today is.
Right. I agree.
I think these people have no taste. They really don't, because what they decide to do was, let me make this as plain and simple as possible. And then just throw in a basketball court in there. Like, you have no taste. I'm sorry. You made this minimal, basic bitch thing. It's unoriginal. It's so unoriginal.
If you're gonna,
I'm mad. How could you do that to such a beautiful house? Anyway, whatever.
Wait till the kitchen. Wait till you see this kitchen here, because the kitchen, like, it doesn't even look the same here. You know, it had the big blue island here in the middle with the tile on top. Check this out. Look what they did here. They totally changed it. I mean, it's massive. Look at how massive that is. It is huge. They totally opened up the house in a major way. Kept the load bearing walls, the studs up and everything. I mean, it's so drastically different. It might as well not even be the same house at this point.
No, and you know what? Listen, there's a somebody in the chat. I don't know where it went, but here it is. WW says it will look like a hospital kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And let's go up to the third floor where Kevin stayed the night. Let's check it out. Oh, look, it's beautiful.
Is it though?
It's very clean. I'll say that much. So
it's very clean. Yeah, like a hospital ward.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, no, it's even cleaner because hospitals are pretty filthy.
This is it's so antithetical to my house. So my house is from the 1700s, and we went through and tried to restore as much of it to the original as we could. Was even the locks on the doors being this bizarre type of mechanism that no one has used in like 100 years.
Awesome. Do you have like the big gameskeeper keys, like Hagrid?
Oh, no. There was before like lock and keys became common. So it's an odd like flip switch system where it's almost like a lever that locks in place for every door.
You're hardcore, man. You're hardcore.
That is awesome. You should do a house tour one day and be like, "This is my 1700s house."
Yes, I agree. That's. Oh, so his internet's also from the 1700s. That's okay, Malcolm.
There you go. You back? He's back now.
Weird happened there.
That's okay. Well, hey. That sounds awesome. Is the gun behind you also from the 1700s as well?
No, but it is. I think at least over 100 years old. I mean, it's one of my favorite things is this French news crew came to my house and they're like, "Oh, we can't film anything with that gun in it because it will make our viewers uncomfortable." And I was like, "What do you mean it'll make your viewers uncomfortable?" They're like, "Well, they won't like seeing something like that where a kid could get it." I'm like, that's a front-loaded musket. My kids, they're like, "Yeah, so it's very dangerous for children." I'm like, my child would need like a PhD to fire that thing. What do you think they're gonna do? Find a gunpowder and a muzzle loader and a.
You should have just handed it and said, try to shoot it. Here you go. You just shoot it. Go ahead and do your best, and then tell me how my child's gonna figure this out. Right? Wow. That is spectacular. Unbelievable.
It just shows how uneducated people are nowadays. Like, we're seriously so ignorant. And the people like having children are the ones who are just so ignorant. Or like the vast majority, I should say, are so ignorant about this, or on like welfare and stuff. And sad.
All right. You know what's not sad? Peter coming in with a $100 super chat. Peter, that is spectacular. I'll tell you what, Malcolm, you get to pick the color that goes on the wall today, my friend. What do we have today? We got Peter with the $100. What do we got?
Let's go for blue.
Blue it is. You know, the wall does need a little bit of blue up there. I like that. Go ahead and Blabs, go and read this off. It looks like I have a song to sing.
Yeah. So Peter says, "Hello, Craig. Can you sing Land Down Under in your best Australian accent while wearing your Aussie hat? Thanks for the show."
Hey, Peter, let me just say this. Nothing would make me happier than to sing Land Down Under in a horrible Australian accent while wearing my Aussie hat.
And it's pretty horrific, the accent, so this will be good.
It's ridiculous. Thank you very much, Peter. Really appreciate that. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Hayden came in with the $20 super chat. Says, "It starts in gaming and movies, and then it bleeds into politics. That's why the answer to why does it always have to be political is, quote, because they're making it political. Bridge is a driving factor in the culture influence. Hey, Hayden, thank you very much. As my boy Jeremy says, Hayden Wayne came in Thank you very much, Hayden. Appreciate your support with a massive 20 right there. Patriot Gestalt says, cuckoo birds hijack nest. Thank you so much, Patriot Gestalt. Appreciate that. And Victor came in with the 10. Says, remember when Short Fat Otaku mentioned Antonio Grummz? This is the plan. You can't ignore culture and politics when they are trying to bring politics into culture. It's the plan. Thank you, Victor.
I think Arch actually brought him up.
Arch maybe did. We've had a few folks that brought him up. Dan says, it's surprising to me Home Alone how much of an icon. It's surprising to me, Home Alone, how much of an icon that movie. They couldn't film inside the real house, so they had to build the actual set from a high school swimming pool. Yeah, I did see that. You're right. They couldn't film inside, and Malcolm, you were correct on that. They're shooting on a set right there. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you. Mercenary says the entire house is so sterile. It's not worth even half of what they're asking. Sorry, but if they offered me to buy that house, I would only pay $5. Well, Mercenary, thank you very much. You'd probably be turned down.
But my mama only gave me $5.
Perturbed Alpaca came in. Says minimalist home decor is just residential brutalism. Live and sleep in your sterile cube and go to work in your sterile cube and try to stay sane. Thank you, Perturbed Alpaca. Appreciate that. All right. We do see all your super chats. We'll get to every single one, including Matthew's right here. Says, I don't know if it was today or earlier this week, but some gentleman found an intact stegosaurus skeleton in New York State that's worth over $1 million. Wow.
What?
Whoa. Nice. Blabs, do a little research on that. Stegosaurus skeletons. Love that. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. Hey, Peter, appreciate you. Let's get you on the wall doing a little blue right now. We're going to get to everybody's support, including Scrolda, who came in and picked up the Blabs karaoke bucket hat. Says, F them soft ass pussy bitches. Love y'all. See y'all in Dallas. Hey, appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you in Dallas here in not too long from now. I think it's June 9th or 8th. We have an anniversary today in tech history. Malcolm, I'm sure you were a big consumer of the first YouTube video to ever hit 2 billion views. I can imagine you going crazy.
Gangnam Style.
Yes. How much time did you spend doing this dance around your house?
I lived in Gangnam, which he's referencing for about a year. I don't know. I would have felt like such a tourist going too hard on Gangnam Style back then because it was all the rage. You know, they even have a statue.
A statue of him? This guy?
I think it's up to 2 hands.
That's cool.
Okay. Wow. I mean, I can't believe that was the first, like, of all the videos in the world to get 2 billion views, the first. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, but you know what's really great is when you see the video like pop up on Instagram again and like one of those live concerts that he's doing now, and everyone just goes gaga when the dance part comes on. I love it. I think it's great. Everyone's just having fun. Everyone's just happy. Like, beautiful.
Need more happiness. That's what Gangnam Style brought. Gangnam. What? How do you say it?
Gangnam Style. Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
Hey, that's what it brings us is happiness. That's what. that's that guy's legacy. Good for him. He's probably super mega rich as well. 2 billion views will buy you some things. It's
actually interesting on the topic of Gangnam Style and our culture sort of being eroded to this sterilized iteration, how much, I feel like a lot of the people I know are now turning to other cultures that are less eroded, like Korean or Japanese culture for media, because it seems to be the only place where you find like interesting new plots and stuff like that. At least in like high corporate media. But even there, we're beginning to see them go more and more woke.
Let's would that's always the question. Would this song have been made today? Who knows? There are too many pretty women in it for sure. Another quick hit here. We had a master of the TDS on a couple days ago, and he was talking about his investigation into the bots on X, and it was really interesting. He got to the root of it. A firm based out of Vietnam called VNX.net. And after being on side scrollers, he actually had somebody from X reach out to him. I'm not saying it was because he was on side scrollers or anything, but I will say this. He actually, I guess, had a signal boost, and somebody at X reached out to him and acknowledged the work that he's been doing. And through his work that he's done, he has actually got that account suspended on X. Now, this is an account that is a very big reason on some of the bots that you're seeing across the across X, and I think it's really spectacular. Just a quick follow up. I just want to say I'm really proud of TDS. He was pretty low because he doesn't feel like, when you're talking about bots and stuff, it's not like the sexiest topic in the world, and it doesn't like get views, but he's done really good work, and it's important work. So I think we should definitely acknowledge it. So good for Master of TDS and the work that he's done.
And I mean, and it looks like Disney may have been involved, which I think, back to our topic, because media today is driven by demand, when they are putting out products that nobody wants, they need to AstroTurf it, and bots are a mechanism of doing that. So it's just so germane to this topic.
Yes. Well, congratulations to TDS for continuing the hard work. He says he's not going to devote as much time as he did to it before, but he's definitely he was at a low point. I think he got a little bit of it picked him up hearing from somebody over at X. Speaking of low points, this was kind of sad. This was actually brought up in our chat and came into our show. Once again, this is you guys dictating how the show goes on a day-to-day basis. Brought up in the chat right before we went live. We had a noticeable death in the video game industry. Noticeable to those who played games in the 8-bit and 16-bit era, those who love chiptune music.
Yeah, I see him frozen.
We'll never know what he just said.
And did I?
Hello.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I apparently broke mid. Sorry about that. Geoff Follin has passed away. He is a master bit tune creator. You may be asking yourself, who is Geoff Follin? Well, if you've ever played the game or know anything about Surfer, this is one of his tunes that he created. He was a master of chip tunes. I mean, yeah, killing it from a chiptune perspective. And so Silver Surfer was obviously one of the bigger ones, and very, very, very tough game. But the music was a banger for sure. Here's another one real quick, which some people may recognize if you played Silver Surfer. I mean, you can tell there's so much diversity in his music, and he pushed the limits when it came to chiptune music back in the day. And somebody who loves chiptunes, I mean, you can't help but appreciate it. But he also went even further. We'll get into his 16 bits. I did a little research on his Wikipedia. We'll get into some of his 16-bit music, but he's probably most well known for the Pictionary theme song of all games on the NES. This is not the theme that you would expect to hear when it came to Pictionary on the NES, and this is what it sounded like. I just like to remind you that is about it's a game that based around drawing, like pretty spectacular stuff. But what's that, Malcolm?
Well, it's probably also worth reminding that most of that was done with only 4 tones.
Yes.
When you're programming with chiptune, you only have access to 4 pre-programmed, easy to make tones for these primitive systems.
Dude was a master of his craft. This game, I've talked about this game a lot. This is I didn't know that he was behind the theme to one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. It was Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball. I loved this game growing up. My buddy had it. I played it at his house all the time. Take a listen to this. This the next iteration, the 16-bit version here. Has like jazzy with the organs and stuff from like, it sounds like baseball in a weird way, like an awesome, like the guitar here. Anyways, like the ability to bend what these systems could do back in the day and manipulate them and just master them is spectacular. I love it. Somebody I see in the chat real quick, people are saying play the Plock theme. Here is Plock, which Blabs, Brochacho Blabs, you ever heard of Plock before?
No.
Of course you haven't. This is a game, Malcolm, have you ever heard of Plock before?
I don't think so.
Plock was a 16-bit, they wanted to be like a mascot platformer in the same vein of like Mario or Sonic. It actually was a pretty okay game, but it just got overlooked because kind of the character was very generic. But here's the theme to it. Kind of has like that harmonica sound to it.
I like it. It's a nice thing to go for a walk on. It's like everything's great.
Right. Crazy. There you go. No. Anyways, pretty awesome. Well, we lost a good one here as the person who created Geoff Follin from Plock, Silver Surfer, Equinox. Oh, Equinox. I didn't even. Equinox may be the best one. I can't even believe I didn't even get to that one. Hold on. We got to hear that one as well. Because if we don't listen to Equinox, then what are we even doing here? And I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I think that's one of the beautiful things about these old school games is this is Solstice. Yes, Solstice as well. Jeez. Okay, hold on. Sorry, there's so much here. This guy did. So listen to this. This may be the best banger of them all. Starting off kind of generic. There's so much going on in this. And as you said, Malcolm, four tones. There's so many layers in that. Anyways, great stuff. So we lost a legend in the chiptune world. Rest in peace, my man. What a bummer. What an absolute bummer. Well, thanks so much for allowing us to enjoy your work. Another sad note, Blabs wanted to tie this in as it does tie into music. We also lost another legend in the world of Disney music in particular. The passing of Richard Sherman. Now, you may be wondering, who is Richard Sherman? Blabs, I'll let you take this one here.
So Richard Sherman was the one who wrote a lot of the music for Mary Poppins. So all of your favorite childhood memories from, this is from him. And it is sad because obviously a legend like that has passed away. And I don't know, they just don't make them like they used to anymore. Like these amazing men just creating such beautiful music, and now we don't really have those bangers and bops from Disney anymore.
A lot of those bangers and bops came from like one or two guys, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. But they were just so musically inclined and just geniuses in their fields. So shame.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, these guys, he worked directly with Walt Disney. So, we're dealing with a guy who dealt with somebody who died 40-something years ago at this point. So he lived a long life, very, very majestic life, and he has passed as well. The better part of Disney's world. So, all right, let's go ahead and keep firing. But I'll tell you what, Old School Gamer over on Rumble came in with a massive $50 Rumble rant. Said Silver Surfer's music had to be good because you were going to hear it so much. That's right. Do you constantly have to replay levels over and over and over again? That's right. You are correct, Old School Gamer. that's the one thing about those old school games is the music had to be big because you were going to be playing them forever and ever and ever, and hearing the same tune forever and ever and ever. And Silver Surfer's music was a banger. Thank you so much, Old School Gamer. You're going on the wall, my friend. Look at that. Look at that. That is great stuff. All right. Let's do another quick hit before we dig into this insanity. There's this thing from Censored TV. I don't know if the anime thing. Do we want to talk about that?
I mean, it is pretty garbage, but this guy's just, he's been known for doing garbage things.
Let's hold on to that. Let's go to this one real quick. Blabs, this is interesting. Why don't you talk about this real quick while I put Old School Gamer on the wall here?
Right. So this isn't confirmed yet, guys, but Twitch is reportedly terminating all members of its Safety Advisory Council. Now, this is from CNBC, but makes you wonder, is that real?
If you recall, this is the same group, I believe, that had the Deerkin lady on.
Yes, I love that Odyssey.
Yes, we saw it right there. That was straight out of 2020. That was the overreaction to everything that happened, and so we have to have the safety advisory, and they saw the criticism from the deer lady or the Deerkin person or whatever. And this was, this is the ferociously Steph person that was the self-identifying deer. Yes, this was in response to 2020. This is in 2020, Twitch launched the Safety Advisory Council to enhance the streaming platform's approach to moderation, and by drafting policy updates, developing features to improve moderation, and protecting members of marginalized groups. There it is right there. This is the shift back and forth that we see here over and over again, where something happens, then it's the overreaction over here. And this overreaction has done absolutely nothing. But the council has operated for 4 years, but according to a report by CNBC, today its members will be terminated and will not receive payment for the second half of the year. These people were paid.
Well, I think it's worse, like contextualizing what was actually happening here. So with the Deerkin thing, right? This was somebody who thought that they were their gender or their identity was actually in some way tied to a deer in some sort of supernatural or way that needed to be respected by other people. And then they were bragging about banning people or silencing people on the platform. When you create a small group like this that has the ability to monitor and manipulate the voices people are hearing within one of these platforms, and these people are part of a small, extreme subcultural group, which doesn't represent anything normative in society, you are giving that small, extreme subcultural group the ability to significantly manipulate the culture and the conversation that's going on in mainstream society. It would be like if you had a Discord and you let only extremist goths run the moderator team, and they were aggressively kicking anyone off who said anything against goths. That you're not going to have some sort of negative externality from this was almost insane. And I think that this is how a lot of the insanities developed, because we created certain identities and subcultural groups that could not be criticized, and as such self-replicating but toxic memes that otherwise would have been called out. When I say memes, I don't mean simple memes. I mean complex memetic structures begin to build within these communities that otherwise would have been shut down as obviously toxic much earlier.
Right. It's interesting to kind of see the steps that have been taken here with Twitch here. Just reading further on this. Each one of these members, and I can't even believe this, each one of these members were paid between $10,000 and $20,000 for their 12-month contract. So you wonder what that meant for these people. But firing them all, this is coming off the heels of Twitch laying off, if you recall, 35% of their staff earlier, about 6 months ago or so, 5 months, there it is, 5 months ago. Laid off 500 employees, 35% of its workforce. So
it's still not profitable?
No. Twitch, that's what they say. Which is crazy. So, and they're taking 50% of all subs still, which is insane. So they could definitely lay off more people. They could definitely exit or Twitter it and lay off 90% of their staff and still run it fine. So, hey, rest in peace, Twitch Advisory Safety Board and team. All right, yesterday we had a Sony State of Play that was announced, and they always they show off gameplay, they show off VR games, they show off new games that are coming very soon. And one of the games that caught people's eye was this new game called Concord. It's a 5v5 hero shooter coming to the PlayStation 5 later this year, coming up in I think August. And it caught a few people's eyes along the way. It's kind of like in the vein of Overwatch or something along those lines. And I have some screenshots of the game. Here are some of the characters that you see along the way. We're not going to really run it. You got Vale over here, Linux, Haymar, great names, Star Child, One Off, right? And then you got some stuff here. These are some of the characters that they're showing. But something that was really interesting about this is, let's go to learning the law over on X. It says Concord is a new progressive and modern shooter for PC and PlayStation. It features, and this is amazing, it features 5 black women, 4 aliens, 3 robots, and 1 white man. It's incredibly diverse and non-heteronormative. Plus, it has pronouns. Are you excited? So here we are right here. This is the future of shooters.
I saw this on Kotaku in Action earlier today, and I was like, I'm going to bring this up if they don't bring it up, because this is wild. Like, this obviously won't sell. Anyone with an understanding of like gamer demographics would know that this is not appealing to the mainstream gamer audience. They didn't like even sex up these women. Like, and with the Twitch thing, what's really interesting is that they were able to, for a non-profitable company, able to convince somehow the bureaucracy to be paying yearly for this fairly large group of people that is in no way increasing the profitability of the product. It's wild.
Well, I'll tell you what, for all the black women, aliens, and robots out there, they're going to find the game that they love here. And if you want pronouns, they're right. They're hanging out there in the upper corner over here. Yeah. Just so you know, if you can't tell.
They're as important as like the character's name, more important than like their class or abilities. That they are the second most important aspect of the character after their names.
That's right. That's right.
One thing I heard recently that I thought was really interesting, that as society secularized, when the pronouns were first getting big, and when the like choose your gender out of like 36 genders was getting really big, that what we were really seeing was renaming the soul gender. It was like the thing that's like not your biology, it's external to you, but it's like the innate core of who you are. And I think that they just used it to mean soul, basically, but because it was intrinsically gendered, then they ended up building their entire lives around gender archetypes.
Well, Savvy, Savvy's been on the show many, many times, and Savvy actually, in her wonderful takes over on X, she had a great take over here. It says, I actually love this. And it's a pretty long post, but the long and short of it is, she loves it because we always say, well, if you don't like things, make your own IP. Don't go in and take over existing IPs and demand changes. Make your own IPs. Well, this is a new IP, and we will see how well it does. If Concord is great, let's see how ultimately the consumer will decide. If you want to make a game like this that has pronouns and this crazy diverse group, okay, awesome, great, do it. Now let the games decide. Now let the gamers decide, and that's the point of this article. And I actually very much agree with her. I think it's great. Make your own studios, make your own great games, make your own IPs, and let the existing goodies exist as well. The world is big enough for all content to exist. No one should be forced to change anything. So she says, she's talking about not changing Lara Croft, not changing any of the existing IPs to go for modern audiences. And I think she nails it right there, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But it's also going to be like when this flops, because no one will buy this game because it's not for gamers. It appeals to like 2% of the people in the world. They will go and gaslight everybody else into saying you're all bigots for not wanting to play this game, just like they're doing all the time. So we'll have that to look forward to. But I do agree, yes, the market is big enough that everyone can make something. And if it's just not for you, it's just not for you. But it will flop.
I think you make a really interesting point there, which is if they make a game like this, the bureaucrats in these large bureaucratic companies that don't really need to make money because they're making money off of something else, can't get fired for a flop that happened because it was too woke. And so it's a great way to butt cover while milking money from the central company.
There's a lot of butt covering happening.
Especially in the video game, no skin whatsoever.
A lot of butt covering. Well, I guess we'll keep an eye on this game, Concord, and see if people are actually into it. It's coming out in August. So for those of you, hey, put it on your calendar. Late August, Concord's coming soon. If you want to play as those characters with pronouns, by all means, go crazy.
I don't know. All I think of when you say Concord is the jet, like the plane. So
well, sure, of course. But I'm glad they made a new IP. Ultimately,
it's better that way. You don't have to ruin someone else's stuff.
Yes, the market will decide. But speaking of old IPs coming back, Silent Hill 2 was also announced, a remake of Silent Hill. But there's one little caveat associated with this. Let's go over to our boy Grummz. Says, let's see how Silent Hill 2 is doing. Oh, I guess consulting firm Hit Detection. Hit Detection is more or less their consulting firm that goes in and they team assesses the risk factors for depictions of characters from underrepresented groups, themes, and potential community reactions. So their job is to go in and check to make sure everything is good. They're more or less a Sweet Baby Inc. style group here. This is our commitment to building a team from a variety of backgrounds, includes underrepresented groups. That this diversity is a strength. We hear that. That's like the tagline we hear all the time. Diversity is our strength. Hit Detection leverages its greatest strengths to accurately predict media and consumer expectations at every stage of the development process. And here's a great example of not taking a risk. This is the change in the character from Silent Hill 2. A little more chunk in the junk right there. So hey, good for you, Silent Hill 2. I'm sure people will love it. Love it.
I love that there's people out there getting paid to like go through a game and like, hey, why don't you make this chick fat? That'll sell more? Yes.
Yeah. Like if I was to tell you that like the one on the right, this girl here on the right, the same character here, was released in 2024. I mean, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked at that because that looks like a character from the PlayStation 3 days, like 10, 15 years ago. It's amazing to see just from a visual standpoint. I don't like we have clearly regressed in the video game space.
You don't have money for graphics when you're spending it all on you got to tighten up those graphics.
Yeah, hey, like the callback right there. We got to tighten up them graphics. That's awesome. Oh,
I didn't remember what I was going to say.
There was also, there was this Valorant post yesterday that the studio head was, she kind of went in and talked about all the changes they want to make to Valorant because gamers are toxic and they say naughty things to each other. But I really don't want to discuss that a whole lot. What I do want to discuss as we are running on time is this. I am shocked. Like this is one of those things where today's title of our show, we did it a little different than usual. Usually the title has some sort of it has something to do with a story that we're going to talk about. But today's title of the podcast is just an overarching theme of all of the stories that we're talking about today. And this is such a great example of this. And we're going to go to Bounding into Comics over on X. As Warner Brothers Games launches a new women and non-binary leadership program in order to, quote, upend the gaming industry's male-dominated characterization right here. So all you normal men watching right now, you are the problem. You are the problem that needs to be solved. And Warner Brothers Games is doing their best to help with that. They have this right here. We can go to the article here, and I'd like to. But there is an actual website up for this itself. But let's go to the article first and just kind of see the TLDR of this. It says, in an announcement that's sure to help the studio rehabilitate its reputation following its recent Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and live service related debacles, Warner Brothers Games has officially launched a new women and non-binary leadership program with the intended goal of, quote, rehabilitating the male-dominated image of the overall video game industry. Revealed to the public courtesy of built-in contributor Bridget Hogan on May 22nd, following the conclusion of its inaugural 6-month run, the leadership program reportedly engaged 25 women and non-binary leaders from across Warner Brothers Games, 11 global studios, and global publishing and central teams. So 25 people, women and, quote, non-binary leaders. Hey, would you like to see these 25 women and leaders? I have a picture of them pulled up. Would you like to see them? Tell me if
it's gonna be good.
Here we go. Here are the 25 women and non-binary leaders here. Let's go and work our way from left to right. Tell me if you're noticing a theme along here as we go here. We're gonna keep.
I see why they changed the woman character.
Well, we're gonna continue to scroll here all the way across from left to right. We see all these wonderful women and non-binary people here. Blabs, do you notice anything about a common theme
They're all white women.
Yes, they're almost.
And a lot of them have shitty haircuts.
And they look an awful lot like the redesign of the Resident Evil 2 character.
I just like to point out this wonderful non-binary dude right here with a
hiding
goatee,
behind a statue.
literally hiding behind Wonder Woman. Can we find a better metaphor?
What if it's a trans woman who was once a woman, then took a whole bunch of drugs and now has a beard?
She wouldn't be non-binary then. She'd be just a man by their ideology.
I don't even know anymore. What day is it?
Like, this dude is literally hiding behind Wonder Woman, like as behind Wonder Woman's shield. This is the best metaphor I've ever seen for this nonsense. This is crazy. I don't even know what to say about this.
I think that the founding of groups like this is something that we could have predicted during sort of Gamergate 2 and the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy, because I think that market pressures right now have made it actually unsustainable for these consulting companies to stay in business. I think that this as an industry is going to collapse, which means that there's going to be a lot of these people out in the market with industry connections trying to get hired at the big bureaucracies, which can still pull insane things like this. Like, if the company was acting at all economically rationally after, Kill the Justice League, they would have definitely not done something like this, not double down in this way. So it's only the players that can afford to act economically irrationally where you're seeing a consolidation of this behavior. But I expect to see even more of it going forwards now that nobody can run these independent consulting firms.
It's really like just shocking to see the amount of hate the amount of hate that is in the industry for its audience. I am constantly amazed at how much that these people despise white dudes. Like, the people who have lifted this industry up, have built and been the primary consumer since the start of it, right?
Well,
and go ahead.
Yeah, continue. No, I was just going to say, in a way, we're incredibly lucky. Like, at least they aren't good at making games. I would be really annoyed if this group ideologically hated me, but they actually made good games. And because then I probably still play them.
Well, that's clearly not the case when it comes to this. By the way, Jessica Durchin is one of the people behind this. She's a senior producer at WB Games. I'm sorry if I got your pronouns wrong. Oh, wait, I didn't, because I saw your LinkedIn. But Jessica Durchin says, if you're resistant to a program like this, maybe consider it a position of self-care. Because of the people I met and how the program was organized, I found I was feeling better each day. It was self-care to learn something new. Even something as simple as finding out I can access LinkedIn Learning through my company membership helped me grow and find new outlets that are both good to me and help me feel good. It always comes back to the feelings. Always.
I mean, a constant search of self-affirmation and comfort with oneself instead of trying to do something actively in the world is always going to lead to psychological deterioration. Like it's interesting that when you just do nothing but seek affirmation, that these people don't get the happiness or hedonism that they have dedicated their lives to. They end up, anxiety-riddled, depressed messes. But of course, that's going to happen.
Of course. Well, here we go. We talked about this coming from PR and HR aspects of the company. Somebody said that earlier. It's not that the video game industry hates you. It's their PR and HR aspects of the company. And senior manager of PR and influencer relations, Ruby Rumjin, inserted, the value that you get from the group's shared experiences. Ah, yes. Shared experience helps you know that you're not alone. Having the support outside of your direct team is so beneficial. Now that I have witnessed and experienced it myself, I really do encourage others to seek the same because it's really enhancing my working life at WB Games. I ended up with so much more than I could have imagined when I began. Well, there you go. I'm glad we're changing these women's life. This is wonderful. So here we are, and this is nonstop praise. Senior Director of Business Development and Licensing, Kelly C. Hill. I have a question. I have a question here. Every single one of these people that I mentioned has a senior position at WB Games, and they're all women. Every one of them.
Casting couch.
What's the problem? Like,
I don't know. I looked at that picture. I don't think it's casting couch.
It might be. There might be some desperate men out there who just want a little fun, little BJ going on. They were there.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you have all these, we have women in high level positions. Awesome. Great. I hope they earned it. What are they complaining about? Like they have everything they want. We're talking about the Senior Director of Business Development and Licensing. This is the top person, the Senior Director of Business Developing and Licensing. Why do you need to complain?
Because she's not happy with her life. I mean, that's fundamentally why. She's not happy with her life, and she thinks if I get more, then finally I'll be satisfied. But the path she's using to pursue self-fulfillment doesn't give her any real lasting satisfaction. So it's this constant search for in-the-moment affirmation, which it seems like this community group is designed to do.
It's it continues on. It says there are challenges faced by women and non-binary people in the games industry and other industries as well, but that are unique but also shared. Unique but also shared. So they can't be that unique if everybody's sharing this experience. So we have the opportunity to realize that even though our roles were completely different, we still might be facing some of the same challenges that are completely unique. By the way, some of the same challenges that are completely unique. By the way. In the video game industry bends over backwards for these people more than any other industry. And we're talking about like women and like there's so many holes in this narrative. Oh, I'm so challenged. By the way, I'm Senior Director of everything, right? I'm so challenged. I feel it's so tiresome and so unbelievable and so made up. It's just amazing to see. Malcolm, I feel like you're going to say something.
Well, I also say that when you look at the intuition to even do something like this, that this was a common intuition in senior management at a video game company. This is not a common intuition or cultural practice within the video game player community, within their consumer audience. And I think that they thought this was a good idea shows how disconnected the leadership of these organizations is from the fan base. And at that point, we need to ask how did it get like this? Like, why would people like this be able to reach these senior levels if they have no cultural connection or ability to relate to what the actual consumers of this company's products want? And I think it's because their cultural group, this, what we often call like the far urban monoculture, utilizes sort of these cabals. I mean, think about what they're doing when they're getting together in these groups. These are groups where a number of the senior management is likely getting together with people in unique but rare demographics within the game company, giving them special pathways to connect and relate and make friends with senior management. It's like getting to go, in the old days, they have I get to go golfing with the boss, right? But you immediately get pipelined into getting to go golfing with the boss if you fit one of these often like self-diagnosed perceptions, which creates an enormous incentive to identify with these communities, which then others you from mainstream society and further gets you in with sort of the cabal or the cult or whatever you want to call it. And I think that that's what's happened. Like an evolved religion appeared, and it was just very effective at targeting bureaucracies.
As I continue down, and I agree with everything you're saying, Malcolm. I look at this, and I'm going down the line of the women who are quoted in this article here, and I'm just doing really quick Google searches of who these people are, seeing what their LinkedIn's look like and such, and obviously it goes without saying, every single one of them has pronouns in their bio. Every single one of them has some sort of victim narrative associated with them. And some of them have even and this is actually a reference to something that was brought up several months ago on a show. We did a show talking about this group right here, Womenize. This is all about featuring women in our gaming space, in the game space and tech. And they spoke with the international PR manager at WB Games. This is Ruby Rumjan. We just mentioned this lady. And she's pronouned up and everything along the lines. We're talking about the international PR manager at WB Games, right? We're talking about the senior director of licensing. We're talking about heavy leadership positions. And I just can't wrap my head around the idea of these people who are so oppressed, and they feel like they're such victims that they need to make a group to talk about their shared trauma while at work. That's amazing to me.
I mean, here's the thing, and people often ask, well, how do you fix it? Like, if you have this like cult that specialized at growing within bureaucracies, because even if like the CEO of this company was like perfectly sane and lucid and wanted to do the right thing, like when Elon Musk took over Twitter, now X, to get the cancer out, he had to cut out like 89% of the company or something like that, because you can't make changes once you begin to get a deep level of infection like this without people freaking out. Now, the beneficial thing is that most of the people that are freaking out are not actually providing real value to the company. And so I think likely the only path out here is you get sort of anti-DEI consulting firms begin to pop up. So I would suggest, if anyone out there is listening and they're like, I would actually be interested in hiring a firm like that, reach out to Craig and I. We'll start one. I have a Stanford MBA. I've run large companies. I've worked in venture capital. So I would actually be the perfect person to run this. Reach out and I will go through your company with you and help you remove the people who hate your customer. Because I don't think that should ever be the case in a company. You should never have a large body within an organization that is forming cabals meant to help people within their subgroup that hates and is antagonistic with your customer base.
As pointed out in the chat by several people, these women have everything except for husbands and families, right? Like,
yeah, we have an episode where we're like, feminists won the culture war but lost at life. And we did this in the result of Anita Sarkeesian marrying herself. I don't know if you remember when this happened, but there was this sad moment where, for people who don't know, Anita Sarkeesian was like the lead person in Gamergate 1 in terms of, antagonizing gamers. And now you get this old... sad looking Anita Sarkeesian marrying herself in her yard. And I couldn't see any, higher a sign of somebody who's not living a happy and fulfilled life.
Right. It's really, amazing to me. Blabs, you've been fairly quiet during this. What are your thoughts on these type of women who are in there? I just love to hear your thoughts.
They ruin it for every single woman who actually works hard in the gaming industry and wants to create fun games for people who actually want to play video games, not whatever audience they think they have on Twitter. So all these women, honestly, are not worth my time. They're scum, and they think they're amazing when in fact they're just nothing. They're nothing. And you guys put it really like eloquently, especially Malcolm. These people are sad. These women are sad. They're empty and they have no lives.
And
they're trash.
Yeah, and I think this is something that's useful to remember for all of us. Whenever we're depressed about the state of things and you're like, well, these people have power I don't have. They're head of whatever company or something like that. If you live a virtuous life, I can almost guarantee you're living a better life than these people are living. They are not... They are being punished for what they're doing, but they're burning on a bonfire of their own vanities.
This is a very serious question. I have another picture here. This is a picture that they listed on their website of this group. Okay, this is the 25 women and non-binary people, right? This is the picture. Once again, what do you notice that is very similar to this picture than the other picture? Look at this picture across the board. What do we see here? What do we notice here along the way? And I'm going to give you a big hint. They have pink hair. This is the dude. And what's he doing? They have hidden his goatee behind this lady. He's hiding once again behind a woman. This guy who is in this group, right? Part of me wants to give this guy a high five because I feel like he's kind of manipulated the system a little bit right here. Like he may just be some guy named Frank for all we know. That's like, yeah, I'm a non-binary dude, but they're very clearly hiding him.
Yeah. Well, two things I want to note here. One, this is the group, when we talk about the mental health in this group, this is the group that GDC was screaming at the sky. They are often deeply mentally unwell. But when you're talking about this one guy who's just like, well, I guess he's just identifying as non-binary and sort of cheating the system. I think something that's important to understand when I talk about maladaptive behaviors evolving or being rewarded when you create casts of individuals that you cannot criticize. I was part of the GSA in high school. I support what I'd say the real LGBT community. But recently, over the past half decade or something, we've created this cultural phenomenon where you can't criticize trans individuals. And I support the real old trans group, right? But there's this new group of people where I would say, if you don't understand how bad things are at high schools now, we recently had some people attacked at a high school in my area. Remember the guy who was the creepiest, most sexually aggressive guy in your high school and who had no social skills? Well, now that guy just has to say he's trans and he's basically can do whatever he wants without any repercussions. And I think a lot of people, when they first hear that, they go, oh, that's so offensive. Creepy, sexually aggressive cis men wouldn't identify as trans to victimize women. And then they think for 2 seconds and they're like, oh, of course they would. Because there are actually creepy, sexually aggressive cis men who were like, okay, well, I didn't have any friends anyway, so let's do it, And that's why it's so deleterious to create protected groups.
Yeah. This goes back to all the kids who would have been goth in high school. It's like now all of a sudden the goth kids are now the trans kids, and because I don't have any friends, so they're looking for acceptance. They're looking for a group, and here we are. Well,
and I think those people are just victims. One of the lines my wife always says is, "Thank God nobody realized they could tell me in high school they had a simple way for me to feel comfortable with my body." She's like, if somebody had said, hey, I've got the solution, you can feel comfortable with your body and you're going to have a preset friend group that affirms anything you want to believe about yourself. She's like, my God, I would have run towards that.
Right. 100%. Yeah, yes, you're definitely right. No matter what, congratulations, and you're so brave and so stunning. It's wonderful. Speaking of brave and stunning, Ian came in with a massive 50 euro monies. Says she learned how to use LinkedIn by banning brochachos. Ian, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That is spectacular and much appreciated. Also with 10 gifted memberships. Ian, Blabs has a special message for you.
Ooh,
woo, indeed. Hey, if you guys got gifted a membership, make sure you say thanks. Consider paying it forward. Ian, massive support, and we genuinely appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know where to go outside of just the shocking nature of this, and it's tiresome.
Well,
And go ahead.
I was going to point out when you talk about this cultural change that's happened, and I think this is really important to elevate. Who is like, obviously this hurts straight white men, but that's not the only community that's being hurt by this. The two other communities that I think it's worth elevating is the real old trans community that just wanted to live their lives however they wanted. Now they are being tied to this culturally like super aggressive, like weirdly predatory group. Like, so their entire identity that they fought for is now tied to something that they might not stand for at all. Gay men who led the way for the entire movement, there was one poll done last that said 45% of them voted for Trump. Like, imagine, you have to keep reminding people, well, I'm not actually with those crazy people. Or even consider lesbians. When I'm talking about that now, cis men who are like socially incompetent and creepy and sexually aggressive. Now, when lesbians try to go on like girls only dating apps and stuff like that, that's all who's reaching out to them, because, men are much more aggressive on dating apps than women's are, just, cultural standards and biological differences. And so now they have to live the lives of basically incels. All the rights that they fought for are basically irrelevant for them. They don't even have women only spaces anymore. Where these basically, I described on our show, like if we lived in a world of space Marines, and you wanted to have some spaces where there are just no space Marines because they creeped you out a little bit sometimes, but now all of a sudden the space Marines just started to say, oh no, I'm actually one of you, but like they're like 4 feet taller than you and like triple muscled. Like, of course you'd feel a little uncomfortable, especially if you had negative experiences, which was the reason why a lot of these women had tried to create women-only spaces. So I really sympathize for the communities that we often forget that are some of the most victimized by this social shift.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. And it always goes back to, it always seems like it's 20-something-year-old white women who are leading the way with all this nonsense, that the professional victimhood attached to it, man. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of amazing, you guys have been awesome with your support today, and we're going to read off some of that support right now. So, Blabs, let's go and start off with Ultra. Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead, Blabs.
Get out of here, Craig. All right, Ultra V for 5 says, we can't live in the cyberpunk dystopia with cool stuff like metal limbs and replacement eyes. We get the crap dystopia with Cybertrucks. There you go. Ray says, my favorite dinosaur is the one with 500 teeth. All right.
Not me. No thanks.
Jag says, Meet the Robinsons is based off of a picture book. Thank you. John Africa says, DEI is a broken concept. It strips a person of identity and puts them in a group. If you belong to this group, you must think this way. Nonsense. Thank you, John.
Yeah. Congratulations. You're in the group, and it's ever expanding.
Tanushi says, the Stegosaurus spikes is called a thagomizer.
Oh, nice.
No.
I like that word. The thagomizer. Let's go.
Blabs a Terror member for 6 months. Bucket hats on men is antinal. What the hell? What is that?
Antinatalist. It's the group that's against my group. It means nobody sleeps with them.
Oh, weird. P.S. I'll be voting for Felon. I like pickles, violence, and tentacles. Yay! Why couldn't I read that? That's embarrassing. I'll shut up now afterwards. Buzzian says, the spikes on the end of Stego's tails is officially called the thagomizer. It got named from a Far Side comic about what it was called.
Wow, really? That's funny.
We got a lot of dinosaur nerds in here. It's awesome.
Love that. Love Dino Talk.
John says, Stegosaurus with the thagomizer for the win. What do you got there, Malcolm? You're just spinning.
Oh, it's a child's toy. Sorry, I have a lot of kids in the house.
Let's see.
Okay, sorry. The wheels light up when they turn, which gives me stimulation.
He's actually the toy's actually for Malcolm, not the kids. The Worthy One says, got the American Pride shirt. Craig, we lit America. Thank you, Worthy One.
Let's go. Love that. Thank you very much.
Stove says, member for 4 months. Unrelated to the topic, I'm just a normal Italian man. Ciao, Blabs. Hi. But y'all ever played Legacy of Kain series? It needs an animated show or a remake. Does it though? Series. Because it'll probably be bad if it's remade today. Just say. But thank you. Tons of fun. Tell Blabs to look up the Urban Dictionary of Cleveland steamer. No, I will not look it up.
It is Friday.
Why? Am I supposed to?
That's okay. It's okay. We'll hold off on that another time. Just
Aaron.
for Malcolm's innocence.
Chris.
I know what a
Aaron.
Cleveland gamer is.
I don't. I don't want to. I'm assuming it's some type of machinery. Aaron says, we must realize that the people who are pushing their politics into games are not our bro chat shows. Correct. Josh says, I love that my wife loves to what word is that? To chunks?
I don't know what that
Tchotchkes.
is.
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes.
Oh,
Yeah.
tchotchkes. Yes,
Yeah.
well, listen.
To your decoration comments.
John says, the personal is political. No escapism can be allowed. Thank you, John. I'm illiterate today. Venus, member for 3 months. Have you heard about the Concord game? Yes. It takes the wokeness to a level of absurdity that is hilarious. Yes, we just mentioned it. Thank you. Master Gawa says, culture war is important because the left never stopped pushing. With Hollywood, they socially engineered society, thus gaining schools and politicians. Now they need to take gaming to have total thought control. Thank you, Master Gawa. Mercenary says, chip tunes are rock and metal and timeless. Rest in peace. Thank you, Mercenary. Mercenary comes back and says, Storm Eagle stage from Mega Man X. The chips are metal. Thank you very
Go.
much. Nathan says, Tim Fallon is the embodiment of the when you're overqualified for your job meme. Cue Pictionary theme.
Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. And you're right.
Crazy says, my favorite was Spider-Man X, Man Arcade's Revenge. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Crazy T. Appreciate you.
Andrew says, I agree with Blabs. Movie composers in general have gotten lazy. I mean, yeah, like, not to bring it back to Star Wars, but look at John Williams' sequel trilogy. There's not that many memorable tracks in them. Like, there's a few, but they're nowhere to, like, the prequels and the original. So.
You calling John Williams lazy?
No, but, like, he phoned that one in. He phoned
Then
it
you call
in.
him
And,
lazy?
like, listen, definitely not. Because he's, like, he busted ass for how many decades. But you can even look at, like, all the new Disney music coming out. And, like, even, like, Disney Plus shows, like Loki and all these other Marvel shows, the music, not that good. So, yeah, they're hired based on what they identify as or their gender or whatever it is. Andrew, write that one. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, Mercenary comes back and says, the only thing that compares it to Richard is Kingdom Hearts. If I want anything that comes closer to the old Disney that I love, I had to download old Disney music. Thank you, Mercenary. Kratos says, Twitch is cutting off their SAC. Better put them on self-delete. Watch. Oh, dear.
Thanks, Kratos. Yes, better watch out for all those poor people.
Master Gala says, since it's 8-Bit Music Day, please find on YouTube the soundtrack for Sega Master System game Zillion. It has great chip tunes that need to be heard. Thank you, Master Gala.
I'll take a listen to that after the show. Thanks for Master Gaba.
Nathan says, off topic, but I saw Warframe make a Pride post on their Steam news. Ugh. I have never seen a Steam get no upvotes for a major game and such universal rejection from the player base. Bit of a nice surprise. Awesome. Thanks, Nathan, for that. Xander says, would you have Doug Tenapel created Earthworm Jim?
Doug Tenapel. Yeah, sure. Why not? I know he's like super duper political now. But I mean, we can talk about Earthworm Jim or whatever. But yeah, he actually has a pretty prominent YouTube channel. But yeah, we'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
Okay. Cole says, I'm tired of talking about women's rights. Can we talk about women's wrongs? Yeah. Uriah of the House right. Dear mainstream gamers, we're taking our money to put people like Grummz and let you rot. Sincere. Male gamers. Thanks, Uriah. Perturbs, Alpaca says, all 24 munch rugs. The one guy watches.
You know, something that I think is just sort of worth reflecting on. If Elon hadn't bought Twitter, Grummz would have been banned by now.
1,000%. Yes.
It is wild how much him buying Twitter changed the course of the culture war just by not deleting people.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. Just by giving people the opportunity to speak. Yes, 100%.
All right, let me grab this one real fast. I'm the Icarus says, where do we send memes? We got one. Tag the Side Scrollers podcast on Twitter or X, and I will bring it up if it is okay to bring up. Thank you.
at Side Scroller Pod.
Yeah. Stan became a YouTube member. Thank you very much, Stan. Death Drummer, DEI, where's Waldo? I spotted a Hannah Gadsby, 2 Anita Sarkeesians, and about 5 Phoebe Wallers. This is like one of those, like a partridge in a pear tree.
By
Victor,
the way, real quick, I'm sorry. I went into Warframe and I was looking at that post that we were looking at. Yes, that post still has 0 thumbs up on it. 0. And we're talking about a pretty major game. That's amazing to see. Let's go. Continue. I'm sorry.
Victor says there's an interesting study that compares affirming identity versus affirming effort. The results shouldn't be surprising for us normal men. Huh. Thank you, Victor.
I think we all know the results to that, Victor. Thank you.
Rendog says Stego found get a cast of the Thagomizer. Rip Thag Simmons. Look it up. So by the way, that wasn't discovered this week. It's going on auction this week.
Yes.
It was actually found in Colorado like years ago. Apparently. At least they say years ago. I don't know when. I feel like we also would have heard about it if it happened this week too. Rob on Wheels says if you always look for more, you'll never be fulfilled. Correct. Like Anakin says, I want more. Anatard, Lord of Derps. Read the Managerial Revolution. The problems are select, ideological, possessed managers within the companies using the company's resources.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it is when you buy these games, when you buy games from these companies, this is what you are indirectly supporting. And it's like, oh my gosh, your money, they have this part of their budget allotted to this insanity. It's like, oh, okay. So when you buy these games, congratulations.
What's wild is when you bought Hogwarts Legacy, you were supporting this because that was made by Warner Bros. Games.
Yes. Oh my God. The amount of stuff, the shit that I get for saying, hey guys, you supported this when you buy Hogwarts Legacy. Play the game if you want to play the game, and solely because you want to play the game, not because you want to stick it to somebody because it's not working. Anyway, rant over. John says, these are the ones who would read at the KC kicker while proving his point. Correct. Right, okay. Tsuna Soul Server says, that guy in the pink hair must be the mastermind.
I think he is. He's like, hey, do all you women feel sad? Let me help you feel better.
TRS Chaos, just eat popcorn during the gaming collapse, Craig.
Nothing would make me happier than just to sit around and eat popcorn all day. I love skinny popcorn. It's the best.
Victor says gay, lesbian, and trans is not the same as queer Marxism. Collective identity for political power isn't the same as caring about personal needs. Thanks, Victor.
Yeah.
Chris B says, hard not to feel a little schadenfreude when thinking about how a loud minority of women waiting to remove any men's-only spaces help lead to this insanity. And it's so wild because these people are also on the other side of the aisle also saying that women-only spaces can't be a real thing either. Like all the people fighting against J.K. Rowling who's trying to go for women-only spaces. It's the same people. So it's like, which one is it? You don't want men in spaces, but you don't want women's spaces either because anti-trans. I don't get it. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I think it's their hatred of the Starship Troopers universe gives away their end game because the Starship Troopers universe has total equality, shared gender bathrooms, a black African woman president of the world, and they still re-at it. Why did they still re-at it? Because some sacrifice, some work is required to have political power to vote. You either have to serve in the military or serve for the government in some non-military capacity. And what they really want is a world where nothing is asked of them.
Yeah.
Man. Yes, they want a world where nothing is asked of them. Wow. That's like, because they're lazy.
Yeah. And they're affirmed for doing anything. I mean, that's what anti-work is. That's what
Wow.
Soon as Soul Silver says, a Canadian, I'm ashamed and embarrassed that we made Justin Bieber, Ubisoft Montreal, and Sweet Baby Inc.
Man, get out of there. Get out of that crazy place. Get out of Canada.
Yeah, I think his ex-regular shared it saying like there was an increase of people leaving Canada for America.
Oh,
I thought that was interesting.
Sure there is. Yeah, absolutely.
Chess Rockwell, why does Blabs look like she's about to go fishing? I'm wearing a tank top and I got a Harry Potter hat. I'm not going fishing. I've never gone fishing in my life, actually. So
you've never been fishing, Blabs?
I've never been fishing before.
Oh, we got to do that together.
Can we go? Like next time? Well, I wouldn't say next time because it's gonna be my first time ever in Texas. Can I go fishing?
Blabs fishing stream coming soon,
dude. It'd be really funny. Okay. Crazy Goats became a YouTube member. Great name. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for your support.
And Peter says, so middle managers are the final boss of GG. Okay. Correct.
Not wrong, Peter. The Armed Jedi came in with the 10. Says you should watch the short clip from the show Last Man Standing, where Tim Allen, where his wife complains about how cleaning his musket at the kitchen table is unsafe for their infant grandson.
Yeah, I've actually seen that show. It was a pretty good show.
Yeah, that got booted and then it got rebooted. Actually,
it did. Yeah, but they brought on the other chick to play Mandy, and that was a big L because she was tall and blonde and the complete opposite of the original Mandy. Anyway, go on.
Wait, hold on. You're talking about?
Last Man Standing. One of the daughters was named Mandy, and the actress left the show. And then when it got rebooted, they changed actresses. And the original daughter was short and brunette black hair, and then Mandy became a tall blonde. It's like, what are you doing?
Wait, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, CG Hero came in and bought the American Pride T-shirt. So did Mock. Says Pride worth having. USA, let's go. Thanks, Mock. In addition to that, picking up the T-shirt was Mercenary. You picked up the baseball cap, which is available. Says I got the hat since it's Razor's birthday today. I'm going to get him one as well. I'll get it on Monday after payday. Hey, Mercenary, thank you very much. And also, the last chance to pick it up, the Mac Doc picked up the Blabs of Karaoke bucket hat today. So hey, Blabs, look at that. Isn't that great?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many did we sell?
Maybe a dozen.
No, there has to be more. I think we sold more than a dozen.
I will look, but I'll tell you what. It's your last chance. I'll let you know today. It'll be good. Aiden came in with the 2. Says, Craig, tonight I won't be able to watch the game tonight, but we'll be there in spirit. I went to the watch party 2 nights ago and took a photo of me at the Stars mascot, Victory Green. Gonna work tomorrow to make up for Monday. Go Stars. Let's go, Aiden. Big game tonight. That's right. Stars looking to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. Fear is the Mind Killer came in with the $27.11 direct donation. Says, hey, Craig, I just heard my cat Morgan has a fatal illness. I'll miss her cuddling while listening to you guys. Thanks for all you do, man.
I'm sorry.
Here's the Mind Killer. Hey, can I get some hearts in the chat for Kitty Cat Morgan? Finding out the fatal illness is there. That's tough. Sorry to hear that, bud. But listen, we'll still be here for you. Ian Pod 9 came in with a 5. Says these woke extremists who celebrate their victimhood seek validation in being no more than a statistic on a graph. They're engaging in self-fulfilling prophecies. Look hard enough into a problem, you will surely find one, even if it doesn't truly exist. It goes back to the idea of show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Well,
I mean, the status hierarchies of their community are based often on how much victimhood they experience. And so they are rewarded psychologically for building narratives where they are experiencing the maximum amount of victimization that they possibly can, which obviously cannot be mentally healthy. I mean, there's a reason they're all screaming at the sky at GDC,
Right. The amount of just victimhood that they own on a day-to-day basis, how sad they all feel. And they're just not fulfilled people, so they're grasping for it, bringing everybody down with them. G1 Shiny King came in with a $5 direct donation. Says, personally, I've taken an accelerationist stance. The sooner everything crashes and burns, the sooner these spiteful mutants can be exorcised like the cancer they are.
An Ed Dutton fan there.
And Samu came in with the 1. Says, did you see that Congress is now trying to blackmail Google and Meta by saying that if they don't stop lobbying against the Kids Online Safety Act, they will get rid of Section 230 to spite tech companies? We need laws to find parents. What? We need laws to find parents. Wow. No, I'm not familiar with that, Samu. Thanks for the heads up on that. Over to Rumble. Shane says, hey there, Side Scrollers. Was curious if you saw IGN's tweet after a certain court case was closed yesterday. It only and further proved that they are a political company and not a gaming company. Crazy. I did find the post that you're talking about, and this is the post that they referenced. IGN says, breaking: Donald Trump, star of Donald Trump's Real Estate Tycoon in 2002, has been found guilty of 34 felony charges in falsifying business records. So, some people saw it as a joke. Some people saw it as obviously It's IGN. They're based out of San Francisco. What do you expect? Like really, what do you expect? That's exactly what I expect from them. So.
Just to talk about this bill that he was talking about, because it's actually pretty interesting. I looked it up. So what the bill is it's in New York, and it would force them to, like the big tech companies, to provide anyone under 18 years a chronological feed instead of an algorithm-based feed to show them the most addictive content, which is actually a really good idea for a bill.
Right. Well, sure. I mean, I think the idea of removing people from an algorithm is great. It's kind of like the first thing I thought of was like, it's kind of like introducing people to smoking without the nicotine. If you're under 18, smoke away all you want. Just don't have the nicotine and all the tobacco and everything. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like these products are unusable. We used to use Facebook, all of us, when it was still just a chronological feed.
Yeah. Then the algorithm came in. And what's weird is you hear people say like, my feed now. Oh, my feed brought me this. My feed brought me this. And we've all said it. We've all done it, my feed. And they're right. It is very tailored to you and the people like you, which we actually had a story. There was actually a video showcasing that exact same thing we were going to talk about yesterday with Geoff from World Class Bullshitters. There was a video of a lady who looked at an article or looked at a video, and she's like, look at the comments in this. So she sent the video to her boyfriend, and the boyfriend had a completely separate list of comments.
I saw this. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
I have to share this to you, though. This is the meme.
Yeah. Let's go. Look at me.
Actually, to the context of that video you were just mentioning in the conversation today, I think it's important to remember just how separated from our reality many of these executives are, like the ones who we've been talking about in these wild groups and stuff like that. They believe that they're in a world where the majority supports their weird cultural lifestyle.
Well, yeah, of course they are. They're surrounded by the bubble, and they're like, everybody thinks this way. Everybody does. But then they'd go outside, and like the world is much different. And that's the thing is they are so entrenched in believing that this is how the world has changed. Oh, the world accepts me. It's like, what are you talking about? You are the outlier, and it's not my job to accept your insanity. So, it's nuts. B. Barrett came in. Says a modern remake of the McAllisters would have the dad borrowing money from a bank celebrating Pride. They'd call it a homo loan. Oh my God. Chris says obligatory, own a musket for self-defense since that's what their founding fathers intended. Sadly, I cannot add the full copy pasta, so look it up. Thanks, Chris. And Left Cross says, what I don't understand is women saying they'd rather see a bear in the woods than a man, but don't carry that fear over to a man saying he's a woman being to be a creep. Right. There's that meme.
They often do. They just know they'll be socially ostracized. I mean, many of these women are terrified to be in these spaces because the types of men who pull these stunts are not like normal, what you might think of as like a normal trans or just like a gay guy who's trying to pass, right? No, they're the really aggressive, crazy ones with no social boundaries. But they know they can't say anything or they get attacked.
Nobody likes to be attacked. That's what it comes down to. It's fear. It's all fear. All of it. Mm-hmm. All of it. I have a song I need to sing in just a minute. Thanks to the massive $100 super chat from Peter. I'll do that in just a second. Look at this. Tons of fun. Says Cleveland Steamer. Do it. Now I've paid 10, so do it. All right, fine.
Okay.
Glad I know what it is. The Cleveland
Urban Dictionary. Cleveland Steamer, not streamer. Okay. All right. Cleveland Steamer. Cleveland Steamer is far more specific than the listings I have seen here. A sexual act by nature, a fetish. The Cleveland Steamer is when one person craps on another person's chest and, very important, then sits down and rocks back and forth like a steamroller. Why? I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Why do you keep making me read this shit? What is this? Why? Anyway, I hate all of you. Who the hell thinks of this stuff? Like, let me go take a crap in somebody's chest and go, like, no! Ugh. I'm not happy anymore. I want to go eat food.
You want to eat food after that?
I want to go make myself feel better by eating some food.
If it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure this is one of those hypothetical sex acts like you get from the Karma Sutra or something, where you're like, nobody actually does that unless they're like running for completion. Like, I need to do all the sex acts to get my...
It.
Yeah, unless they're 100%ing it.
Oh, man, that's funny. The 100% completion of sex. I love that idea. That's really funny. Oh, there you go. Tons of fun. You did it. Congratulations. Speaking of doing it, Kratos came in and says, well, I bought 11 hats, so at least that many. Keep an eye out for me in Dallas meetup if you want a free one. There you go. If you're going to the Dallas meetup, you want a Blabs the Tower Tard hat, you can pick one up over there from Kratos.
See, Chat's saying she needs a Snickers bar. Yeah, I need a Snickers bar to feel better after that. You're not you when you're hungry and sad and upset.
Oh, my God. Chernobyl came in and says, the problem with anonymity will be gone. Digital ID.
Yeah, that's already happening.
Okay, that's what we're talking about with that act. Okay, and the Copper Owl says, Blabs, you have a harassment case. So there you go. You can blame it on Tons of Fun. Thanks, Copper Owl. Appreciate it.
It's important to remember how much anonymity changes the nature of online conversations, where environments like 4chan, where the posts are only elevated by how much somebody interacts with it, you're going to get much more like controversial discussion, where in something where you even have pseudonymity like Reddit, you're going to get, and what's elevated is the most normalized opinion, you're going to get incredibly basic ideas.
It's nuts.
Anyway.
Hey, let's sing a song. Land Down Under in your best Australian accent while wearing an Aussie hat. The Aussie hat. Hold on, let me
I'm just so sad now.
Don't be sad, Blabs.
I don't want to know these things anymore. I like looking at my pretty Harry Potter collection and just being happy, and not all you weirdos making me weird shit.
Welcome to the show as I put on my Aussie hat here. Malcolm, do you know Land Down Under? You obviously don't need to sing, but
I'm not singing in soft.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, you'll know it by the time I'm done with it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Peter for bringing us this wonderful song. This is by Men at Work, the 1980s classic, as I bring you the wonderful song, Land Down Under, in an Australian accent. Yes. Do you come from a land down under?
What is that?
Where women glow and men plunder.
Australian, he said.
I'm doing an Australian accent. Am I not doing an Australian accent?
No, you're doing some retarded accent. I said Australian. There's a difference.
You better run. You better take cover.
He's Jamaican.
That's all I got.
You're terrible. You're absolutely
I
terrible.
was literally listening to it in my ear, and I was replicating what I was hearing. It didn't work out very well. It wasn't
was
good.
horrific.
Oh, what, Peter? Why'd you? Oh no! Tomatoes. That's rough. Stop it. It's ridiculous.
Boo.
Me. I tried. I did my best.
To the Cleveland steamer, I was just thinking how there's this like whole category of sex acts that seem to be made up by like just post-pubescent males who have never had sex and are thinking all of the things hypothetically someone might do sexually, like the Cleveland steamer or a donkey punch, or like things I'm certain no one has ever actually, because to keep in mind, for people to have actually done a Cleveland steamer, you don't need to just get one person who thought this was a good idea. You need to get two people. Like somebody had to actually pitch this to their partner and get them to accept. And I just don't think that happens very much. Well, I mean, what if your partner came up to you and pitched a Cleveland steamer? How would you?
No, the answer's no. Yeah, like Craig laughed. The answer's no. It's never happening. No.
I'm out. That's my response. Maybe you're not my partner anymore. Maybe not
the one for me.
Siver says, my people just love making Blabs destroy her innocence. I agree. It says also, Kratos isn't the only one who bought the hat. Thanks, Siver. Appreciate that. Yes. Blake says you sounded just like shat. Thanks, appreciate that. And Zipper came back, says Blabs should show her ceiling candles to cheer her up. Yeah, apparently you have ceiling candles now. I saw that on that.
I mean, no, I've actually had them for like since December. I got 20 candles for Christmas in December, and they're all hanging up. And then my sister got me more for my birthday, but I accidentally broke one, so I only have 39 now. But yeah, they're all above me.
Oh,
She
cool.
really can't see them.
You really are a Harry Potter queen, aren't you?
Yes.
So, Samu came back, says, no, the Kids Online Safety Act gives the government control of the internet and mass censorship of the net. Look it up, Senate Bill 1409. They're trying to kid-proof the internet. It says anything harmful to minors must be deleted, and those companies will be fined. Okay, thanks, Samu. Hey, and Blabs, good for you. Jeff Atkins came in and picked up the Blabs karaoke bucket.
Yay!
Last chance to pick it up. Last chance, guys. Thanks, Jeff. It will not be available mañana. Matthew says the gals going to Dubai are taking those steamers. Gross. And Doronis came in and says, I'm not for this. Hashtag protects Blabs innocence. Yes, I think we need to remove the Blabs learns for a while. Just give it a month or so. Let her regain some of that innocence. Let her forget some of the nonsense she's learned. And there you go. All right, Malcolm.
But before we go, I gotta say this.
Yes.
The web browser says that the candles sound like a fire hazard. They're not actually like candles, guys. They're battery operated. I would never put a candle on my ceiling. Thank you. Like the amount of people commenting that, I'm like, oh my god, guys, they're battery operated. They're remote controlled lights. They're not real candles.
They're not real candles, yo.
Most of the lights in my house are made to look like old fire lights to keep with the old aesthetic.
Love it.
So I love that you take.
Sonorum says, Blabs, put this in your search for next week's Kentucky Klondike bar. No,
I will not be doing that. I will not be ruining Klondike bars either.
Or Kentucky. All right, Malcolm, give us a rundown of where everybody can find you. It's important.
I prefer people check me out on Basecamp these days. But I've also written a number of books, the Pragmatist Guide series on everything from like governance to sexuality to relationships. And we mostly take it's basically dissident ideas on sex, politics, religion, stuff like that. Anything that's likely to, piss off the new left or the old right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you had some cooking on there too from last year. Let's go.
Yeah, we tried to do, when we were restarting the channel, I was going to do one cooking episode a week, and I just realized it was too much effort.
Cooking is tough.
But now I'm going to do a cribs episode. You guys have convinced me.
Yeah, you definitely
I'm going to try to go full.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just be you. Hey, y'all, welcome to my crib circa 1745. Let's go. That's great. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Everyone go subscribe to Malcolm over on the Basecamp channel. You can find it at Simone H. Collins over on Twitter as well. That's the Twitter account, and Simone and Malcolm over on YouTube. But just search Basecamp and you'll be able to find it. So, all right, let's get out of here, guys. I want everybody to have a great weekend. Oh, there you go. Xander came in and says, why don't they use the time turner all time? I don't know what
so
that.
In the fifth one, at the end of the fifth one, the time turner and all the sand is broken and ruined, so you can't use time turners anymore. But before then, there's laws and everything too. And honestly, it's kind of like a plot, important plot thing that J.K. Rowling kind of worked on. But yeah, it's basically just because of laws. Like just something really trivial as to just going to class another time is fine, but like actual trying to change stuff, it's bad. The end.
All right, cool. I'm going to try to recover. I definitely feel like I'm getting sick.
Oh, so when I say you're like, nah, I'm fine, but now you're like,
I felt my health deteriorating over the show. I'm not sure it's because of the subjects of today or just my mental health, but I definitely feel like I'm wearing down a little bit. With that said, I want you guys to have a great weekend. I will see you guys bright and early at 11 a.m. Central Time on Monday. Maybe I'll come back and stream for an hour over on the Side Scrollers Plays channel this afternoon. But with that said, go subscribe to Malcolm, go subscribe to Blabs, Brochacho Blabs. Thank you guys so much for your support today. Whether it was direct donations, whether it was Rumble, whether it was Superchats over here on YouTube, and the gifted memberships to the channel. Guys, have a great rest of your day. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Guys, it's more important than ever. You do not let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great weekend, guys. Sayonara.